Alrighty, so today I'm just gonna go to an old classic, what I got in today by opening up some boxes and kind of talking shop here. Um, got a lot of stuff to go through here, some neat stuff that has come in. Super frustrated with Magic the Gathering. I, I know I'm a broken record with it, and every time I'm just like crossing my fingers and praying that they are going to change, that they are going to do what's right for the market, that they're going to stop the nonsense. And then you wake up to $160 Fallout Commander sets that they're already pre-selling on Amazon right as it's announced, and it makes me to believe that Wizards of the Coast is giving information to Amazon before they're even giving information to places like distributors on what the price and what the configuration of stuff is going to be. So Amazon starts getting massive pre-orders before even stores know a price or distributors even have it up. There was one distributor out of the four that I used that even had Fallout up or pricing up, and very disappointing. Fallout seems to be the exact same pricing as Doctor Who. So there's going to be collector's boosters, and the commander decks instead of fours is to be the exact same price. So I think my price out the door last time was 155 for commander decks and like 195, 200 around there for collectors. And so it's pretty sad already that Amazon had them up for, I think it was 164 shipped, which is pretty insane for the commander decks, because that is literally at the price, right around the price, like give or take $10 of what stores get their commander decks for these Universes Beyond type stuff. So speaking of Universes Beyond, there will be another wave of Doctor Who commander decks, which is super troubling because the prices have absolutely crashed on Doctor Who as far as the secondary market is concerned, because the collector's boosters are just jam-packed full of value. And they have a long ways to go. If you watch my video that I did yesterday on the Doctor Who collector's booster box opening, you can just see those things are just those decks just had a lot of goodies, or the Doctor Who has a lot of goodies for staples and things like modern, even like the Fire Islets and the Sun-Baked Canyons. So speaking of which, Doctor Who is a nice little bait and switch. So I wanted to be wrong about it, or I want to be and hope that there was a low supply of these collector's boosters, but it was just another kind of like what Wizards used to do a lot of times, was they would really get the FOMO going by making people think that there was low allocations. So like for example, I only got allocated 28. That was it. 28 collector boosters. And now I could literally buy Doctor Who collectors until, my heart's content of them. And then there will be another wave of commander decks too, because those were shorted. Like, I allocated 1 billion of those, but we only got half of our allocation with this release. Warhammer, for example, is another one that we thought would eventually run out of supply. Warhammer still has massive supply of the commander decks, and it just seems like it's never going to end. And it's Fallout. I don't think the market can handle Fallout. I think that Doctor Who really took the last bit of what we call reprint equity from the Modern Horizons, what are the canopies, Horizon canopy type lands where you can sacrifice them. All those had pretty decent value they could add to the commander decks, and they've used like every land cycle possible. Like, they're going to have to do like fetch lands or shock lands to squeeze out any sort of value left in these Fallout commanders, because these type of products, they need to be super limited, in my opinion, to maintain any sort of value. And Wizards of the Coast just keeps jamming things down our throat. The Lord of the Rings is going to get very, very, very worrisome, because if you notice, Lord of the Rings prices, they're still going down. They haven't even found that nice flat line of where they can start increasing. There's a few exceptions, of course. The ones that are heavily played in Modern or in Commander. But there was even a small little release of bundles again for Lord of the Rings. It has the One Ring in it, and it's to a point where it's super, super scary. Like I think that all that Wizards of the Coast has to do is get out of their own way, and it'd be a successful game. As you can see, I mean, the market is still pretty hot. If you look at the overall singles market for Magic the Gathering, things are still selling. People are still putting commander decks. I'm expecting a massive attendance at this Magic Summit that I'm going to be attending in a week here in Salt Lake City. And as far as like what I hear about like regional qualifiers and attendance for events, they're still down, but they're not something that is like so worrisome that Magic is completely collapsed. So the one I've repeated this over and over on this channel, is that Magic just won't stop printing like they're in the pandemic era where everyone just has free money to basically. And then it sucks too because we're still catching up with that. Like the chickens are coming home to roost with that money. It inflated the price of everything, and now so the cost of goods went up, the cost of things like fertilizer, gas, all that stuff. So now we're seeing food prices go up. The housing market is going to crash. So I mean, rent and things will go eventually down, but still, rent is still quite high for everyone. Mortgage rates are quite high for everyone, and all of this stuff is finally starting to compact where people are going to start cutting hobbies out because they have to pay for food, they have to pay for education, they have to pay for cars, they have to pay for the essentials. And Americans and Canadians and Europeans don't have as much of that free money that they used to have during kind of the boom years before the pandemic, and then of course the unnecessary pumping up the market to try to keep the economy stable during the pandemic, which led to just massive expenditures in things like hobbies, which also, you know, cause its own problem with now where Magic is still flooding all of this crap into a market where Modern Horizons boxes still exist. Modern Horizons 2 are still the cheapest ever. We have, like, everything is still competing for that dollar, even in their own collectible industry. So I really hope that Magic and Pokemon will settle down. Speaking of Pokemon, I was offered even more of these. So again, I was cut very low allocations for these Pokemon UPCs, and other distributors reached out to me and asked me if I want another 24 of them. I passed on them. I passed on 24 ultra premium collections from a distributor because I'm already like super full of these. Like I had to cut so many people, and of course nobody wants this. This product is brand spanking new, and I'm hoping we can get a holiday rush that really leads to sales for this type of stuff. But it is getting very scary with the amount of printing that both these companies, and they will not settle down. Like, I'm not against products, like, yes and no. I know everyone has a concern about the, you know, Doctor Who, the IPs. Like I've just come to terms with Magic that they're going to reach out to other, you know, this Universe of Beyond isn't going away. I still think that Lorcana was a big worry for them, that they know that they cannot protect their game mechanics. And so the only way that they can really protect their game is to make sure they saturate every IP possible, so another Lorcana doesn't come up and compete with them. So even if they have to pay these or bribe these IPs to create Magic game pieces or Magic, you know, the mechanical games for that, then that is better than having like another Lorcana pop up and really compete in their sphere. Because games like, there's really nothing that can protect Magic, and so many people have tried to create these other games that are different enough. Like Flesh and Blood is definitely different enough, and it's successful. It definitely is successful. It's not nearly as successful as something like Magic. And so Lorcana, I think they had it right, that they needed to copy as much possible from Magic and then make it enough interesting to where people will want to pick it up and have a reason to play other than Magic. But for the main thing about Lorcana, though, is it is so similar. It's so easy for a Magic player to move over to Lorcana, that everything is so familiar with the hand size, the way cards are cast, the attacking. That, I mean, again, it's a little bit different, but it's very similar. With all these things are very familiar. And so I think the only way that Magic, like I said, can actually protect it going forward is going in these IPs. The problem is now we've seen with now Lord of the Rings, Doctor Who, and like Fallout coming out, is that they are just not gauging what the market can actually absorb with this stuff. And now, as looking at Doctor Who, I'm actually pretty certain that things like Sunbaked Canyon, which was out of Modern Horizons 1, has more supply. You just think of all of the sales from Modern Horizons 1. It was a set that was very highly printed at its time. Had a long print run. A lot of people loved it. Had a lot of sales. I would not be surprised if the collector boosters and the Doctor Who Commander boxes added more supply of things like Sunbaked Canyons than all of the printings of Modern Horizons 1. It'd be very interesting to see like the actual numbers of printings for these sets, because Wizards does keep a lot of this stuff extremely secretive with it. So, I mean, that was the whole drive to Modern Horizons 1, was those lands, and now they've already reprinted them. And it's just crazy the amount of, and Modern Horizons 2 has already had, which is still in stock at its lowest price ever from Modern Horizons set boosters. Those are still available at distribution level, which is crazy, because Ragavan has already been reprinted. So anyway, that is my discussion for kind of the market for Magic the Gathering, let's go ahead and just look at see some of the cool stuff that has come out. We have these Strongholds by GameGenic that I've got to restock in. These are more of your premium-based product for deck boxes. They hold 2 commander decks for Strongholds. I sell these quite often. They are available if you are patrons. Anything is available. If I can get it from a distributor, I will let you order it from me. So yeah, utilize your perks. I love it actually when patrons find stuff that I have no clue exists, and then I order it, and then I actually like the things. But Strongholds, these are good. Typically like to keep these in stock at the store. They are super expensive. Like, it's funny with these accessories how the market's changed with that, where people are just, there still is a lot of money out there. And comparatively speaking, with like $40 from 5 years ago, doesn't feel like $40 of now. You know, when you're paying double for your movie ticket than you were 5 years ago, paying double for gas, paying double for groceries. I guess, you know, paying more for deck boxes than, I mean, it was so unheard of 10 years ago if people would pay like extreme premiums for deck boxes, because everyone, that's what I remember here at the store, we'd have a hard time selling anything but budget. So these are kind of cool. I need to review these, but most of these need to go out. I apologize, I'm not going to get everything out today. Everything came in late on a Friday afternoon, and everything will go out Monday. So these are the Bastions. So this is the competitor now to the Ultimate Guard's Boulders. So we'll have to do a compare and contrast of these two, but I don't know. Oh wow, as I throw someone's boulders. These are hard to get right now because GameGenic didn't know how much would be sold of these. I hope I'm not too close here, but they're going to be very similar. That's kind of GameGenic and Ultimate Guard. What the story is with these two companies, I believe there was a falling out with the Ultimate Guard. The main designer of Ultimate Guard left and started his own company for the GameGenic. So apparently, with European law, I don't know how it works with it. They don't have a lot of non-compete clauses or whatever, where you can just literally go and start your own company after you've been working for another company. But they do have enough differences. But most of the stuff from GameGenic is very carbon copied from like Ultimate Guard. So again, it will lead to some competition. I've actually seen Ultimate Guard step up their game. But the Bastions, these will be fun to review. I've had a lot of pre-orders for those. They are slightly more expensive than Boulders. Mainly because I think Boulders have increased their prices as well, but I can still get them at the old price from distributors, because distributors are a little bit hesitant of, you know, increasing prices. Like, nobody wants to right now. Nobody wants to be. I saw a good post by Corbin Hostler's been around in the Magic finance community forever. I know he's worked for like a lot of the bigger name like TC Players or Cool Stuffs or whatnot. So anyway, he wrote a article, or at least tweeted out an article that was like, people are really like, this whole play booster price increase is actually not that far-fetched of an idea, just based on inflation, that Magic packs have stayed stagnant for so long. And even with this last price increase of 2020, that we are still, even from inflation from 2020 to now, the increase in play boosters to 2023, 2024 is still not matching inflation. So they're going to be cheaper in 2024 than they were in 2020, and they're the same thing. It's going to be cheaper based on, you know, inflation than it was in 2015 or 2010. And so that the hobby people have just got in their minds that they can't deal with price increases, where the rest of the industries have all increased prices for stuff. I've noticed with board games, they've all gone up, you know, 10% from the past few years because of inflation and just the cost of everything. But, you know, there's distributors and hobby manufacturers are very hesitant to increase prices. So they're actually eating the cost of inflation really, really hard right now. Man, there's some cool colors on these Bastions. I actually like these suckers. These blues really pop. I don't know if you can see them there or not. So what else we get in here from good old Asmodee? I have this Marvel Crisis Protocol miniature game. I've never played this game. I'm not a big miniature player. I like board games. If I describe what I was, what type of board game player I am, I'm definitely a European style board gamer. I'm not a big fan of like moving dudes around a map and area control and miniatures and dice rolling and stuff. I kind of like more of the strategic grindy games. But yep, so kind of cool stuff coming out from the Bastions. Hopefully I don't make too much noise with this mic on my shirt. So let's see what's in this box. Oh, cool. I've been waiting for these suckers. So speaking of cool board games, as Zach just asked me, we had a customer come in earlier today, and I forgot that we did have one coming in for this. This game has been a huge seller. This one is Heat, Pedal to the Metal. That has just been very, very popular of a game. And I know a patron just asked me about this. Unfortunately, this one's already sold. So it is on back order now. This is a very, very hard game to get. But this has been a huge bestseller. Meadow, I have yet to play this game. This is kind of I think this is an older game. This one just had a restock. I think it's kind of a classic game. So it's funny, I actually attend more board game conventions than I do Magic the Gathering ones lately. I was going to attend the World Series of Board Gaming in Las Vegas, but decided against it. I need to, speaking of cutting expenses and really tightening the belt, those are the type of things that I've done less and less of, is traveling. I don't even go like fishing as much too, because, it is getting tight. And when money gets tight and it's harder to do things, then, those are the things that get cut right off the bat. And people look for ways to save money the easiest way possible, which is, hobbies. So we got the Quacks of Quedlinburg. If you've never played this game, it's another best-selling board game. That one is highly, highly recommend. Azul, Queen's Garden. I actually haven't played this one. The other three Azuls are really, really good. Have not played the Azul Queen's Garden, though. And something this Mandala two-player game. I have not played this sucker. So, then we have a couple of these party games that sell really well in my area. This Exploding Minions, which is from the Exploding Kittens line. And I'm a Little Krabby, which I think is also from that line. So you can actually get these type of stuff. So if you ever want to host like a party game night, I would love to help you out with like a mix of games that I think would be fun. I'm not the best person to talk about party games because I typically, like I said, I like more of these like strategic games. Two of my favorite games right here, Everdell and Gizmos, are really fun. As my distributor is calling me, I'll have to call them back in a second here. Hopefully that my phone ring doesn't interrupt too much. But yep, Gizmos, Everdell, fun games. Really like them. Everdell is in my top 10 for sure. Gizmos is a very fun game like Splendor. And then we have a restock in these of the Game Genic. You just want cheap ways to actually sleeve your games. Like a lot of Lorcana players really love these. This is the matte version. I also have the clear version of the value packs for Game Genic sleeves. So I'm going to a few of these boxes. I need to call that distributor back because it is an order that they are doing. But we've got a lot of other stuff that people have been buying like crazy. This is probably going to be full of like Baldur's Gate. What's in here? Oh, wow. We actually have more Doctor Who's collector boosters. Oh, ooh, there's some cool stuff in this one. Which, again, huge warning about this. If I can find it and show you it real quick. In here, we have, of course, restocks of Dragon Shield sleeves and some set boosters. Doesn't look like it is in this particular one. Yeah, speaking of boulders, they keep coming out these solid colored boulders, which are kind of cool. In here, yeah, a couple Doctor Who boxes in here, some set boosters. What else is in here? Oh, there it is. Okay, so here's my problem that I'm having with Pokemon. What is this, March Machines? We have, again, my allocation for the Charizards. And as I mount Zach, I'll call the distributor back because that's what happens. They call me and then they call Zach because they can't. So anyway, so we have the ultimate, so the premium collection Charizards. So this is what I got allocated. Six from these suckers. So I guarantee you that in a week or 2 weeks, distributors are going to be offering me them like crazy. But the problem is I won't be able to sell them at that point because everyone will then give up and just go to the mass box, like to go to the Walmarts and the Targets and pick them up because I wasn't allocated enough to sell to what people wanted here. So that is my problem with Pokemon. Now I'm getting buried with UPCs, and it's kind of the same thing with Magic the Gathering, where the stores are like the lowest on the food chain right now with everything, where the margins are ultra competitive with what it's going for online. We don't have like the big box presence of people just shopping for groceries and then, oh, I'll get this Charizard box while we're here. So it's like the people that are allowed to make good margins are going through big box stores. And it's funny how, you know, people, I've noticed that too with my locals too, that they're more than willing to pick up like booster packs at even a higher price, usually with like Walmart. That's usually the most insane prices for that kind of stuff. They're more than willing because they're like already there at the checkout. I'm like, oh, I'll just pick up a pack and whatnot. And I've noticed that with everything else. So it's kind of makes me super salty with the way that's gone. Anyway, I'm going to cut this one right now because I do need to call that distributor back. I apologize for this video. It's kind of been all over the place. But sometimes I just like to show what I'm working on and, you know, how things are going here. Let me know what kind of videos in the future you'd like to see. I'm still trying to figure the place of this channel. Like, of course, these type of videos are by far the most popular ones. They're so hit or miss too, whether people like them, whether they like the information or not. But I do want to expand in like reviewing products and, again, talking more about the actual games on this channel. But if people are enjoying these type of stuff, I guess, you know, I guess it makes you feel involved with being a, you know, kind of behind the scenes of a store and what kind of goes on. Anyway, this video has gone rambly enough about who knows what. I'm gonna go ahead and go call that distributor back and hopefully get to shipping out some of these packages. I know people have been waiting for quite some time with some of these. Like, man, this one takes a week to get to me because it's coming out of a distributor in the East Coast. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Kevin with Gunner Games. Thanks for watching.